there, my name's Dhanusha Sivajee and I'm the CMO of The Knot Worldwide. My parents are entrepreneurs. I'm originally from England, so you can tell by the sort of odd accent at this point, been in the US for 20 years, but they were entrepreneurs that had every kind of business possible. And I used to work weekends and nights at their gas stations, at their bingo halls, dry cleaners, you name it. So I really had to get to really understand who the customer was, what I had to do for them in that small business setting. So when someone told me that that was a function that you could actually go to college for and make money on, I was like, sign me up. So The Knot is a 20-year-old brand, actually 25, I should say at this point. And what I love working for brands that have a mission and purpose and not one that suddenly just came out of nowhere because you had to or someone's telling you to do that. It's because it was really ingrained in the values of the company from day one. And that's true of The Knot. From day one, 1996, it was the very first internet brand for weddings. And it was a brand that was all about empowering women and couples to do things their way. And it was also about pushing the boundaries on marriage equality and this notion of love is love, which over the last 2 decades has obviously become something that is very much a focus of society. But 25 years ago, that was not the case when they were putting the first same-sex couple on their magazine or doing a promotion with NBC around, gay rights and marriage equality. So that was what was appealing to me, that it had this purpose and it was a very mission-driven brand from day one, not just because it's been cool to do so the last few years. So wedding planning has changed a lot, as you can imagine, over the past year and through the pandemic. What we've found at the core is that people want to continue to celebrate their love. If anything, I think the pandemic has reminded people what's really important, their relationships with their loved ones. And so what we've found is a lot of people aren't canceling their weddings, but what they're doing is either postponing or coming up with different ways to celebrate their love. So we've seen the notion of mini-monies on the rise, where people are doing smaller ceremonies with just themselves or smaller group of friends and family. And then what we're expecting to see this year as the vaccine rolls out is the pent-up demand coming to fruition in terms of people doing sequel weddings, people doing 1-year anniversary receptions, where they can really go big and bring in all of their loved ones to celebrate. Yeah, I mean, as we've seen this shift in what's going on with weddings over the last year, I've been really proud of how our company, not just our marketing team, but the whole company has come together to honestly just pivot strategies. So we've had to launch a lot more new content, new products and features to help people plan their weddings during these times. So it's anything from, how do I plan a mini-moni? How do I tell my guests and communicate with my guests as dates are changing? To launching new product features like video chat, AI chatbots to help you plan and find vendors online, because people are now having to plan more from their living rooms than ever before, since they can't go and visit venues and visit other vendors in person. And then we've done a lot of other product features like 360 virtual tours. So again, people can get a sense of what their wedding could look like at the venue if they can't go there in person. So just really proud of the fact that we really had to pivot both our consumer strategy, and then on the B2B side, we serve 300,000 small business vendors around the country. And in the past year, again, we've had to pivot. We put out a $10 million fund to help them through these times, as well as a lot of education and content around how to navigate people, legal, their own mindset during this unprecedented time for everyone. I'm very impressed by a lot of different brands. I think on this notion of a brand that's trying to do something similar to us, that's been around for a long time, but really empowering women and others to live life them and be their most authentic selves. I've been really impressed with what Barbie has been doing. Last year, they even did sort of a sit down with Barbie and her best friend Nikki around the topic of racism. So using your platform for a greater purpose than what people actually know you for. Going back to that idea of purpose-driven marketing is something I'm impressed by. I also heard that, as we know, I think Budweiser is not doing any commercials at the Super Bowl for the first time in many years, and actually using their dollars to help with vaccine distribution and access. So again, in both those examples, just really, impressed by how those brands who are sort of going back to basics and putting some purpose behind what they do and what they're known for. Yeah, so what's interesting for us at the Knot is, across our portfolio of brands, we've got 15 brands around 17 countries in the world. And so what's next for us is really expanding that global footprint and helping couples around the world plan their very unique wedding. As I mentioned, there's a lot of pent-up demand for people as they're planning their sequel weddings and their anniversary receptions. So our plan, we recently launched paper on the Knot, as well as a registry product. So look out for us to continue to not just help you, with the ideas and finding the vendors that can help you pull off your perfect wedding, but all the other aspects that go with it, whether it's save the dates, invitations. With registry, we're finding that people are putting both products and experiences on registries, and we're just, really rounding out our product offering in that area.